Well, is New Jersey about to have a snowmargeddon? Maybe, maybe. Today is Sunday night, January 25th, 2015. It's a possibility, but I'm kind of putting this video out before it actually happens. And, I can tell you one thing. The time is actually to be prepared is now, not to wait, because, well, let me put it this way. I don't know if this is going to be a big event, but it probably is, because they've been up in the forecast lately, from... Originally, it was like 1 to 3 inches. Then it was 2 to 5 inches. Then it was like, 6 to 10 inches. Then it was like over a foot maybe. And now they're talking 18 to 28 inches. And who the hell is going to go more? I don't know. But Mr. Cat is looking out the window saying, hey, man, that's a hell of a lot of snow, man. I don't want to deal with that puppy. I can't even get outside the sliding glass door. So, anyway, I want to actually present something here. Like, I don't have nothing to do with this other channel, Adapt 2030. It's actually talking about the coming mini ice age. Now, actually, Russian scientists even said it could happen in 2 years, could take 2 decades or whatever. They also expect the bottom of the cold period to be around 2060, but there's other things all coming about at the same time. There's a 180-year cycle, a 400-year cycle, and people are going to think I'm full of it on this deal, but actually this year so far globally, you probably didn't hear this in the major media, but I'm pointing out to this channel, like he points out, there's a lot of unusual things that happened. There was heavy snowfalls in Vietnam and the rice paddies. Right? Heavy snowfall. I'm talking like, more than 6 inches. Heavy snowfall in the northern deserts of Africa, 6 inches of snow in Palermo, Sicily. And talking in December. In December, they already had twice as much snow as in Sweden that they normally get in a whole winter. 2 winters worth before winter started. Norway just had it 8.5 feet. Japan, China, and Russia in a lot of areas had all the snow, a whole season's worth of snow as of weeks ago. Of course, you know what happened in Buffalo, New York. Also in Michigan, Amarillo, Texas just had 12 inches of snow. That's all on his channel, so if you want to look at that, Amarillo, Texas just had 12 inches of snow. The previous record, I think it was like 3-point-something inches. I know Amarillo gets colder, but it doesn't get that much snow. A few weeks ago, Southern California, Las Vegas, San Diego, parts of Mexico got significant, unusual snow, and I know it melted, but the thing is, this is actually leading up to more than cold. It's actually leading up to higher food prices some years down the future, maybe even pretty damn soon, because it's going to create a problem. And I actually put out, there was actually things that could probably be done about this electronically. I just want to mention this real quickly before I get into some of this other stuff about what you could possibly do about the snowfall in New Jersey, besides look at it and say, wow, hey, that's pretty, let's make a snowman, or whatever you're going to do. But I just want to say that there's actually some, whereas this is actually an effect or a climate, the global climate theorists about it getting warmer, more than likely are freaking wrong as all hell. It's probably an agenda to just tax the hell out of you, and which you understand. You probably, if you live in New Jersey, understand about tax the hell out of you and regulations and fees, and unfortunately, could be a cool state in a good sense if it wasn't so much of that deal. But they probably got it all wrong, the global warmist, and it looks like this year so far, the Farmer's Almanac also predicted a really super cold winter due to sunspots and solar activity. So this might be your day to work on Tuesday morning in New Jersey. I don't know, for most of the state, I don't know. We'll find out. It could be wrong, because I'm kind of putting this out before the storm, but usually when they up the forecast from 1 to 3 inches and it's already up to 18 to 28 inches, I don't know what the hell's going to happen, man. So we'll find out, man. We'll find out. Well, somebody's going to find out, not me maybe. I'm down here in Florida, but I was up in New Jersey back in 95, 96, when you had the 100 inches of 6 inches of snow up in North Jersey. I actually liked it, so I don't care. But anyway, Paul Revere, I'm playing Paul Revere. Paul Revere is riding on his horse, and he's got like lots of snow on him, and he's telling you, hey man, the snow is coming. And you know that, but I'm going to tell you this. This is probably going to be something. When I mentioned that I didn't want to get all the details on another channel, I have nothing to do with Adapt 2030, but I just wanted to mention some things briefly because there's been a lot of unusual things that have been going on in the world, not just in some isolated places. Like it's been in Japan, Russia, China, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia, even Dubai. Forgot about that one. Algeria, southern Sicily, southern Italy and Sicily, southern Greece. Even in northern climates are getting unusually heavy snow, southern USA. Even in Canada, I forgot about that. There's been records going on in Canada. It's like the global cooling is already starting, and this is a trend that's going to happen for many years. This, like, if you think it's crazy this year, it's going to get worse. But there's stuff. The real problem is going to be food. I'm going to tell you at the. I'm just going to point to a link about another video I did on this deal about the global the food. Waking up to primeval code and the seeds, and it's per damn good research, but I'll mention this on the end. But just want to give you this little heads up on this deal because this is not something, I don't know if this event is going to happen right away, but this event is actually a predecessor for future events that are going to be even more severe. So I'm playing a little bit of a Paul Revere thing, and hopefully well, snow is pretty. I got to admit that. It does look nice to look at. I got to say that. You don't see any, I don't know, stuff on the ground or anything. It's all nice and smooth out, and everybody's grass is nice and mowed and everything, and the trees look great if they got pine trees on them and stuff with the the spruces or whatever it is. But you're going to have to deal with a lot of things. Now, the one thing that's possible, I don't know if this is going to happen, but, they could have an ice storm later on this week. But, I also put out a video about in Utah, they were talking about banning wood-burning stoves. And probably in New Jersey, I don't know, a lot of regulations over there, man. They probably already have that banned in a lot of places, but maybe not everywhere unless you got a permit and you pay money and you get taxed on it a lot or something. I'm just kidding, but you know the deal, right? I mean, everything should be free, I don't know what you need tax for a wood-burning stove for. But the thing is, people need to have this type of stuff beforehand because some of the old-school tech, it's not tech, but it works, is going to be some of the most important things because actually what's happened even in Scotland, I forgot about that, they recently had some crazy snowstorms, 120,000 people without power. And that's what happens when snow occurs because of the weight on the tree limbs could knock down power, or even a car accident could hit a pole and knock down power. It just happens. Stuff like that does happen during, high winds and heavy snows. But, going back to the old school, actually the old wood-burning stove or the kerosene heater is not a bad deal at all. But unfortunately, sometimes you got to deal with a lot of rules and regulations, and it's like you can't do that. You got to, I don't know what the specific rules are up in New Jersey anymore, but I don't live there. But I'm just saying, I guess, I don't even have to say this. If it's a matter of your survival or not, I would recommend getting a kerosene heater because if something happens, whether you're supposed to use it or not, and it saves your life, well, take your pick, you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. I mean, to lighten up on a lot of these rules. The other thing is, I know a lot of people say, yeah, I got all-season snow tires on my car, all-season tires, and they work in the snow because they say M&S on them, like mud and snow, and they say, I got a front-wheel drive car. Well, that don't really cut it, I can tell you that right now. What you really want, and you really want to do this beforehand, is have the one with the little snowflake on it. Like you see, there's a snowflake over here, and there's a snowflake with the mountain. That's the real snow tires. And you want to really put them on all four wheels. But in lieu of doing that, you can do chains. And there's a lot of damn cable chains out there that are pretty damn easy to put on. They're not like they used to be. They got all these things you can tighten them up. They're a little more high-tech than they used to be. They're designed to go... I mean, I got a demonstration of how I put them on my Jeep, They're not hard. And they got other kinds that fit a lot of different cars, too. They got ones that are fairly adjustable. And they got other ones that are fairly tire-specific. But I can tell you one thing. If you put chains on that puppy, Chains will get you through a lot of stuff. And, you might need it because I got a feeling a lot of people, well, if you got a four-wheel drive, you're cool too. That's another good thing. But not everybody wants to drive a four-wheel drive all year round. But if you got one of those, yeah, that's the ticket. But I think sales of four-wheel drives is going to be going up after this winter. I can tell you that right now because it's not just in where it's probably. I don't know if it's going to happen in New Jersey. It might. It might. Right now it's not that far away. I think they're going to get a hell of a lot of snow. I don't know. Maybe it'll get a record. Maybe it'll get a record because I don't even think they ever had 2 feet of snow in a 24-hour period yet. I mean, they've had more than that, like in a week, but not in 24 hours. And maybe they had more than that in several days, but not in 24 hours. They're saying that this storm is going to lay down 2 to 4 inches at the height. 2 to 4 inches, I mean, per hour. And it's going to be going like more than 24 hours. So that's at the the most intense time in the storm. So they're saying now 18 to 28 inches. Every time I turn around, the forecast is going up. But then again, it might be a bust. I don't know. But looking at what's going on across the whole planet so far this year, there's been not just breaking records of this century. They broke the records back in the 1800s. That was the last mini ice age, and they don't have records that are very accurate back in the 1600s. But back in the 1600s, it's been written down that you used to be able to walk from Staten Island to New York for 6 weeks out of the year because the Narrows was frozen over. How many people know that? I mean, you don't know what the exact temperature is, but they used to walk from Staten Island to New York, the main part of New York, across the Narrows for 6 weeks out of the year. That don't freeze over today, does it? Well, that's what happened. That's what they're thinking the cycle is going to be going back to over the next couple of decades. But the big problem actually is going to be food. I'm going to tell you what the deal is with the food at the end of this video if you're still around. But there is a secret to it. But the other thing is, while we're talking about food, a lot of people don't prepare and store a lot of food. Some people do, some people don't. Some people have a lot of stuff on hand. Some people kind of go like, just in time delivery or something, But the thing is, you really want to always have some emergency supplies on hand. It's very important. And that's another deal where the kerosene heater comes into play because when you order a wood-burning stove, but I know that's going to be a lot of problem to put in because you need a permit, you got to have a flue, you got to have an inspector, you got to even if you're allowed to have one, then you got to have wood. And kerosene is probably illegal in a lot of. It may not be everywhere, but is there probably a lot of places that got regulations on kerosene heaters. But the thing is, the kerosene heater, you can cook with it. You got light and you got heat. So if everything goes down, you'll be fine. As long as you crack a window open and the damn thing's running right. But hey, you can cook all kinds of stuff. You can cook some oatmeal. You can get some eggs on there, soup, whatever the hell it is, and be fine, right? And if the electricity goes out, now that doesn't mean I don't want to put this out as doom and gloom, but I really think I think there's gonna, hey man, it's like prepping stupid until you need it. That's the way it is. Prepping is dumb until you need it. Which means it's not dumb because when you need it, you're like saying, wow, that was really smart. But you never know when you need it, And you got to have the right type of tires to even get around because I can tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of problem with these all-season tires that tell you they're good for mud and snow and all kinds of weather. They don't really cut it. Those ones that are designed for winter and you want to put them on all 4 tires. And, they're not actually that expensive. I'll tell you a brand like Firestone Winter Force. I'm not selling them or nothing, but they're not much money compared to a lot of other ones out there. They're not bad. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people say they're pretty good rating, but they're low price. You'll get around in a hell of a lot deeper snow than you would be surprised. You'd be surprised. And the first time you get stuck, you pays for the tires because you got to call, maybe you got AAA, but then again, you got to wait for AAA and freeze your ass off and wait around for so many hours because AAA's been too overloaded getting everybody else out that's stuck, So, and the other thing is it could help you avoid an accident. So that's another thing. But you don't need a Jeep, but you really do. This is better if you have a Jeep or 4-wheel drive truck. But hey, chains will work too. Chains will work too. But that's not the only thing. It's also having a heating at home as a spare emergency heat and also emergency food. Candles even. Even if you don't have anything, get some candles. So I don't know how many people do this stuff, but they maybe not. I don't know. This would be the ideal situation if everything goes down for a day or 12 hours, and it's like 12 degrees outside, and the snow is 28 inches deep, like some of the higher predictions are. Well, you want one of these puppies. That's what you really want. You'd be saying, "Wow, I'm glad I had this." But anyway, I want to actually tell you one thing too. Doing a Paul Revere thing is that. The seeds, the one thing that, and this is actually, I'm going to point to a link though where it was, but they used a special type of treatment with electricity, not going through the seeds, but the seeds were in the between two high voltage plates, and the best specifications I got was the negative plate was on the bottom, the positive plate was on the top. The seeds were in between. The separation between the plates was 6 inches. The seeds were in between on a plastic tray. The electricity did not go through the seeds, and what happened was it was just in the field of electricity. Now I'm bringing up a point, but they found out it woke up the primeval code in the DNA. In other words, seeds that were like wheat seeds were able to grow in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Normally it would take several months. And it had higher productivity in a much shorter growing season. This may be highly important if you're considering that this trend of the weather is going to continue. In other words, if you got this out as common information, it would be a lifesaver for many people. And I'll point to the big pharmaceutical companies that found out about it, but it seems like it's suppressed technology because they want everybody to go with genetically modified food, which a lot of doctors are saying causes cancer in people, or will cause cancer, because they've been finding out that mice have been, like, anyway, with the test on mice, when they're 18 months old, most of them have severe cancer, which is the equivalent of a person being 40 years old. Now, I'm not going to go over this in detail, but I'm just throwing it out here real quick, because, if you want to pay attention to it, you'll look up and you'll find out where it is. If you don't want to pay attention to it, you'll ignore it. Or you'll tell me I'm full of it because I didn't put it out in an extremely professional way, but I'm actually putting it out in an accurate way. And, tell you the truth, I think New Jersey needs somewhat of a new revolution with Paul Revere and over this type of garbage, because people need to be able to do what they need to do on their own and take care of their own families, take care of themselves, take care of their friends or whatever, and their neighbors, without having to go through a labyrinth of bureaucracy to the max, and somebody sitting there with a regulation code book and telling you what the hell to do and finding you left and right because you're trying to survive, But I don't live there anymore for those reasons. But if you're a cat and you're looking outside the double glass, sliding glass door, the double pane windows, maybe you're staying warm inside, and you're realizing something's wrong with this global warming, because you're looking at a pile of snow that's many cats high. So anyway, looks like this is going to be coming down the pike here. I could be wrong about this. I'm putting this out before I even... Do I know what the weather's going to be? No. But I'm going to tell you this. I'll leave you with this thought. As much technology as we have, and as much as society has progressed over thousands of years or hundreds of years or whatever, it's bigger than all of us? Nature. And if we don't adapt right away to... If this will be a warning signal. New Jersey is a very populated area, that people on the top are blowing smoke up your butt, telling you, hey, the global warming is, we got to stop the icebergs from melting. I'm going to tell you right now, they're lying, because they want a global carbon tax. So that's what they're doing. So they can have a global government with more bureaucrats collecting global bullshit, laying more dumb global rules down on you. So anyway, New Jersey people, let's revolt. Anyway, cats, come on. Use our instincts and pull out those feeler whiskers and let's get the shit rolling here because, well, we'll see if this storm happens or not. It may not. You know, it might rain. I'll be putting this out like, you're wrong. But I don't know. It's a risk, but what can I tell you? If I'm not right, maybe you'll pay attention to a couple things I said in here. Because even though I put it out in an unprofessional way and I was kind of kidding around, I'm just shooting from the hip here. Actually, everything I put out on this video is very solid. Very solid.